Now we can go on recording. Okay, there we go. Two. Morning, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Bread for Soul Convos with myself, Sir LSG. And this is the 42nd episode, and we're just keeping on going. I'm stoked that on this Friday edition, I have one of the best DJs in the country, technically and otherwise, and also an entrepreneur, a venue owner, and somebody who's just doing so well recently, a newly TV producer. How are you, my man? Ashley.
I'm good, bro. How are you?
I'm good, brother. I'm good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
What's happening?
Man, yeah, firstly, thank you for joining me this morning and doing this, spending your time. I know you are a super busy person, especially now. Or ever. Are you ever not busy? Let me start there.
I'm, I'm not that busy this week because we're not shooting. We're not
Okay,
shooting. Yeah.
nice. Yeah, man. Let's get on with it. I wanna just everybody who's watching, if you're watching on the Hit Refresh page or on the Best Beats TV or you're watching through the SHIMZA page, after this, please follow, like the page. The name is Sir LSG, and we do this every morning, Monday to Friday. And this is a show that we use to inspire other people, but mainly to teach and share using our knowledge and experiences and just share stories so that no one should struggle from lack of information. If you're struggling with your artistry, it should be from the lack of drive to you that's coming from you as an artist, and not necessarily that you're lacking information. And that's why we do this Bread for Soul Converse show. And I want to start with you, with where the beginning, Shimzane, like with regards to you and music. What are your earliest memories of music?
So my earliest memories of music is is the struggle of walking home for like maybe my 5Ks at night. I was maybe a 14, 15-year old, and I was playing vinyl with with no transportation or no one that I know on a Chalete or like a car, and myself and Combs, I would walk, man, would walk to and from home to gigs, play for free, walk back home, and we saw nothing wrong with that, but for me, I think it was a big, big, big part for shaping who I am today. That experience, that time really
Yeah.
helped me to be who I am today.
But you're already a DJ then, like you had already gotten into the thing. But I want to know, like, from home, or is there anything in specific that drew you towards the music, before you even became a DJ?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up like I was 97. I was still like about 6, 7 years, and that's when YFM started, and YFM played a big role in exposing us to a lot of good music that people didn't listen to on radio. They broke boundaries. With the hosting of the shows. It was very young, vibey, and they played a lot of good music, new music, international music. So for me, the exposure that I was exposed to at that time was a blessing because it shaped my musical ear.
Yeah.
As much as my brother used to play vinyls at home, like Kadi One One,
Mm,
then you heard about these things called mixes on radio
mm,
and DJs playing music that you've never heard, and I think that for me built a very big interest in me and finding out about this music
mm.
and starting to research about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. When I first met you, wait, let me ask you this. Do you remember where you were in 2006? What were you doing?
2006, that's when I was still doing like TUT stuff. That's when I won the South African Music Conference competition. That's when I won the Gauteng Carnival competition. So there's a lot. So I'm not
Yeah,
sure where.
yeah. Actually, talking about those competitions, well, specifically the SAMC competition, and this was at Baseline. Do
Is
you
like,
do
yeah.
you remember that evening? I mean, like I remember watching the video, and there was people like Louis Vega, Mr. V, Frank Roger, Oskido, obviously, like the DJU family was there, but having guys like Louis Vega and Frank Roger and Mr. V actually being mesmerized by you and your skills as a DJ, you winning that competition. Do you remember how it felt?
Yeah, man. I mean, so from where I come from, I come from a very competitive environment. Like myself, DJ Komza, Pigzo, Tende, um, all the guys Bakul Boeing that I used to practice with, they were very competitive and we used to battle amongst ourselves, and would tune each other like, I when your timing was off, this was off. Udlalile pere, go gaga." So I come from a school where I'm in a competitive environment, and the equipment is like trash,
Yeah.
and we made use of that and perfected our skills and understanding what we were working with, and getting like the SL 1200s in front of me that are professional turntables. That was like a walk in the park for me. Like I do this every week, with the guys go garage.
Sure.
Now you're in front of Boss Guido and them who are legends at that time. But I look at everyone on stage and I'm like, these guys don't know, man. Like, this is what I do.
Sure.
And winning that competition for me was quite dope because I remember Kishashaile Maoledi, it was during school holidays, and I was like, Maoledi, there's this competition that I want to enter and get 250 to enter that competition, you know.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I knew when I got that 250, I was going to buy my first bag at vinyl. I used to carry my vinyls in plastic bags, you
Sure.
know. And you remember at SAMC, there used to be stores where they sell vinyls, they sell DJing equipment, DJ bags, you know. So my the 250 shayile mawule ka yona, I bought my first vinyl bag, you know, which was um, a black soul candy vinyl bag, you know. And it was an achievement for me because we'd see like we used to look up to DJs that are carrying nice bags. You know, the vinyls are properly stacked. You know, Adisinye,
Mm.
when they travel, like on
Mm.
flights, you'd have that fragile sticker on the vinyl bag. You
Yeah.
know, and that's what we aspired to. And me being able to buy that vinyl bag, it was an achievement for me. You know, but then it meant I had to go back home and show my old lady what 250 competition illegal, you
Sure.
know. And winning that competition was quite dope because that's when I got to own my first pair of turntables and a mixer. So which meant I didn't have to go to anyone's house or work on any other person's schedule to practice. You know, I
Mm.
could literally wake up, make a noise at home, and perfect my skill. You know,
Mm.
for me, man, that was an eye opener. You know, I remember when they called out guys to come through and participate in the competition.
Mm.
I was actually left out. You know, they cut the line. You know, and I don't know who that guy was, man. Like, there's a friend of ours that swapped his place in the competition for me to jump on stage because he was like, I'd rather not participate because I know that that boy is dope, you know. And he did that. I went on there and I took the opportunity and I ran with it, you know. And what that did for my career was that it opened up an industry where like my Grootman are like, hey, this guy is still very young, son, this guy, we're not sure. We don't want to be seen as my Grootman that took this kid at Skela and lost the plot and started drinking alcohol and doing all these weird things
Mm.
because of the experience that they've had with other people, you know.
Mm.
And I took it very slow, you know. I
Mm.
didn't force myself onto people. I asked questions. I used to go and watch DJs take every opportunity along it was given to me, you know.
Mm.
So I think I used that advantage of the amount of promoters that were in that room and the amount of DJs that were in that room because that also helped me with getting more gigs like Digital Mart, $1,000, you
Yeah.
know, 800. You go there, you DJ, you come back home. But that money also went back into buying more vinyls and more music, you know. So
Yeah.
I've built so much from there that I can't look back and regret anything.
Sure. Man, actually,
Yeah.
the story ya gago ya SAMC and the competition is such a profound one because I'm a winner of the same competition in 2008. And my story is exactly the same. I was like the last person to be drawn into but while Nkoro can compete, because obviously there's about 500 people attending the conference
Yeah,
and not
yeah, yeah,
everybody
yeah.
can compete. And I remember very well like Greg Maloka lifting like my name band or no, I was still calling myself DJ LSG by the DJ LSG, and then
Yeah,
I went on to win it. And I mean it's platforms like SAMC that have seen many people come from it and really grow as artists, and that it was such an important conference. And I mean, I don't think it's happening as effectively as it used to be, but it definitely was an important one for our scene, especially at that time. But I want to ask you, that was 2005, ne? 2006. Let me tell you the story. I actually started DJing in 2006, but before I started DJing, you came to. I was a student at Vets, and you played at one of the parties there, at one of the races. Do you remember one of those parties?
bro, I've been to so many of the Kono Kendo, right?
Kono Kendo, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I remember no Kendo days. Yeah,
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 like I remember, if I could tell people this story, Shimza sold us a mix, 100 rand. I think it was 150. 150 for first year students was a lot of money back then. But we bought this mix because Dimana na Bolaya at the gig, you know. I still
Yeah,
remember the song.
I used to sell CDs.
You used
Yeah,
to sell
yeah,
CDs. Like you played Amir Reg, you played that Mary J. Blige, Put Your Hands Up remix, and
yeah, yeah.
that Lorraine Rocco remix. Man, I still remember those songs. But I want to ask from you, being,
You know,
yeah,
from
sorry.
that, like now that you've made me remember that, like I was at a point where I wanted to get my brand out there so much that I made use of any platform, anything that I could leech onto to make sure that I get my brand out there. And the 100 rand um, CDs for me were quite essential because they helped me buy more music so that I could make more mixes and have an interest of people buying because I used to play a lot of new upfront music on those mixes, So that played a role in my vinyl collection, and it's quite amazing that you reminded me of those days because I totally forgot that I used to sell CDs myself.
Yeah, yeah. I want to ask you a similar question I asked Black Coffee when I had him on the show. Is that how do you balance, you know, looking back at how far you've come, and also with what the work that you need to do now, like what's currently happening in your life right now, and also the future plans. Like, cause do you just carry on as if, like, do you easily forget your achievements? Cause you've done a lot, you do a lot still, but do you constantly go back and look back how far you've come, or is it just an on to the next one type of thing?
Actually, Nacho, I don't lie. I don't want to lie, man. I have flashbacks of the things that I've done in the past, and every now and then it helps me reflect and appreciate where I am today. But those learnings from the past help me shape where I'm going. And I think for now I don't set goals, man. I don't say in the next 5 years this is what I want to do. I'm like, what is it that I can do right now that can have an effect in the future for myself? So
Mm,
um like right now I'm like, I need to make a certain type of music because that's going to shape and form my brand towards where I want to go in the future.
mm,
So it's it's not like I have a 5 year plan or something, but I look at goals now and I'm like, how do I get there? And I try and maneuver my way around that goal. It's
mm,
not easy, man. It's really not easy. And like sometimes I go with my gut. It's
mm.
like if something feels right, I'll do it. And if you're popa, you're popa. If I poppy, it's cool.
Yeah.
Like even with the lockdown house party thing, it was a feeling thing. I felt strongly about. I'm seeing a lot of people doing live streams, Bali one, and I'm like, why don't we do this thing together? It will have more impact than if Omolomo gets it.
Mm,
And that's where we did the whole one stream cross populated on Facebook and Twitter, and we had more numbers because there's a collective of us pushing the same thing.
mm,
And then what that did was it opened up another avenue of of income for some of us,
mm,
and it has played a role now, and it being beyond just creating a platform for me and my friends to play, but a platform for young upcoming guys that no one knows of, that
mm,
we've bumped into, that we know, that are dope out there,
mm, mm,
giving them that platform that we've created through our brands. And I think people like the people that started the show with me, like the people who were involved in the first show, really played a big role in making sure that Lockdown House Party is what it is today. And I think they should be happy that we've created a platform for a lot of people,
mm.
even though I had to run with the idea alone since I started it, and
Yeah.
and and implemented what I was thinking, you know.
mm,
But those guys, like, they played a big role in the in the conceptualization of the concept, you know, the
yeah.
beginning of. Yeah.
And I want to get to this. It wasn't in the plan, but now that you mentioned it, I'm very interested to find out. Um, the does it does something like that? So when you start things, and this is talking about relationships just in general, when you start things like that, and you, like you mentioned, the first show, you had a few of your friends, you had Black Motion on there, you had other people on it, and it was a big show, online. That was the first lockdown house party that you had on Facebook. But I want to know, in terms of relationships, how do you manage doing something like this, and then yes, it's your idea, then you run with it? Do you have guys coming to you and say, Maran Fit, we started this thing together, we were there together? Is it always like, or is it an easy conversation between guys who do
Not,
understand that you came up with the idea?
yeah, it's not like, um, we deal with a lot of egos, you know, and we're dealing with a time that no one really expected, you know. And I took approach here. We had a party like maybe 2 3 weeks before lockdown. You know, when we were launching the new single that I had with Prince KB and Black Motion. You
Mm,
know, um, and Amifaku. And we did the party, you know, and I was like, I've got experience in running events, and let me run with everything. So I put all my resources in it. I invested my money in there, you know, made sure that everything was cool, you know.
mm,
But I enjoy that space. And some people literally just love DJing and
yeah.
making music, you know. And I didn't expect them to be hands on the
Mm,
way I was, you know,
mm,
because I've got the formulas to make sure that things work, you know.
mm,
But I lost money. It was a partnership,
mm,
like, amongst ourselves, because we were pushing our single,
mm,
but the show didn't do as well as we thought it would, and I lost money because I was the one that was hands on, you know.
mm.
And when I asked guys, hey guys, release the challenge there, and no one sort of said, "I okay,
Thought as
shota
well.
ka buka itsatsi." So I
Sure.
was like, I know this, you know, and for me, it's a passion. You know,
Mm,
I love putting stuff together. I love seeing things progress and coming to shape. You know,
mm,
so when I went into the lockdown house party thing, I was like, let me put in my investment and run with this thing alone, so that I don't expect anyone. If this thing bombs out, it bombs out, and it affects me
mm,
alone. Because I expect that anyone else to take the blame or
mm.
get any shit from it, you know. And if you're popper, like, it's my investment, you know, and I'll
Sure.
run with it, you know.
Mm,
But you know that you'll never get the same response when things are bad than if things are good, you
true.
know. And by God's grace, the show got a good reception, you
Mm,
know, and it got interest from other people, you know. And going into the Channel O space, we were given the platform at like at word go, you know,
mm,
and there was no money, you know. And
mm,
I was like, do I go back to the guys that I called for the Facebook one and say, guys, we need to raise about 300,000 to make this thing work for Channel O?
mm,
There's a possibility that it might fuck out. We might lose the money.
mm,
Or there's a possibility that a brand might just jump on, would get our money back, and make 5 rand, you know?
mm, mm,
And I was like, I don't want to risk it, because when we are in a very fragile space where people can't gamble with their money. So
mm,
let me take the risk alone, put down 250,000 or 300,000, shoot this thing, sell it to channel, and see what happens.
mm,
You know, it was my faith speaking, you
mm,
know. And I made the investment, I took the risk,
mm,
and it paid out, you know.
mm,
And it was weird when, after like 1 or 2 episodes, when this thing is like crazy, then like you sort of hear stuff around, like this guy, what, and you like you were not there when you didn't ask when I asked you to come on the first one, or okay, how much that is this thing going to cost you? Do you need any help?
mm,
Um, Dintang, you were not there. But now that the product is out there and it's working, now you wanna try and cry foul, you know. But it was nice that some of the guys came through. We spoke about it. I
mm,
explained my position, and it was dope. And some they took offense and they didn't want to talk, you know.
yeah,
And I'm like, hey, it's cool. I tried to reach out,
yeah,
and that was it. But now everything is cool, you know. So it just go back. It just goes back to taking risks, you know, taking risks, putting down your last cent, and
mm,
saying, I I'm throwing dice here. If I span, I span. If I span, Aspan, and
yeah,
it's okay. You know, I would have tried. You know,
mm,
and that's how I live my life, man. You know, I'll spend a couple of hundred thousands on an event like my one man show. I spent money that I didn't have. You know, I'd rely on people buying tickets for me to be able to pay people. You know,
mm,
and sometimes it's short the shelter thing. You know,
mm,
and I'd have to fit the bill. You know, and that's where I get my strength of taking risks and making shit happen, man.
yeah, man.
Yeah,
And thank you for sharing like the way you did, especially regarding the lockdown house party with that situation. Because sometimes um people from outside, when they're viewing things, when we see things as supporters, as consumers of the content, we don't really know what goes in, into creating that
yeah.
content, and the risks that are there, and the efforts that are needed for the thing to be what it is. But I just want to say a big up on that. I want to know, like, between you and your team, I know you work with PH and Sibu Mabena on the show. What is the bigger plan with regards to lockdown house party?
With lockdown house party, man, I feel like the concept is so big right now, you know, because it played a big role in at least the sanity of South Africans around lockdown. You know, there was something that people were looking forward to enjoying during the weekend, you know, and we brought them the best lineup. Some people have never seen some of their best, their favorite artists performing, or DJs playing, and they got the opportunity to see that on TV for free. You know,
Mm.
it's just a subscription
Yeah.
that gets you. So I think moving forward for now as an individual, it's like I'm working on a lot of TV stuff now. So there was a donyana that was opened for me, you know, to do the lockdown house party and get me to understand the TV world. And I went there, saw an opportunity, and I was like, shit, these people opened for the wrong person. Because now I go in there and I don't look here and say, okay, we've got lockdown house party. Let's see what we can do. Let's raise sponsorship. I look like 10 steps ahead, and I'm like, okay, there's lockdown house party, but we've opened this door.
Mm.
In this door, there's another door there. Let me go see what's going on in that door. And I go and I knock, you know, and you'll find that some doors awuna moo together, you know.
Sure.
So you open like how Muski one,
Yeah.
but and I'm going in now, you know.
Sure.
I'm going in. I'm not taking the opportunity and the door that has been opened for me for granted. You know, I'm
Mm.
taking it, and I'm making like good use of it. Like right now, I, I don't want to say it, but I'm going to say it.
Say it,
You
man,
know,
please.
I've been taking the money that I've been earning from Lockdown House Party, and I'm investing it into another show that's bigger, that can give me more returns, you know. Um, and it's a risk again, because I'm shooting a pilot of this show, but I don't know who's going to buy it. I can say, like, I honestly, right now, I'm just shooting the show. It's dope concept. I'm making it as dope as possible, but I don't know where that show is going to go. But something in me says there's a space for such content
Mm.
that no one is seeing, and I'm going to play in that space, you
Mm.
know. And I want to create things that don't like. that don't need me to be there to make money.
Mm.
I don't want to, like DJing, you can be at one place at one time,
Yeah.
and that's your check. If you are not there at that time, you are not making that money,
Mm.
you know. But with TV, you could be home, like, nah, I sit here and watch Lockdown House Party, and we're making something from the show. It's not millions, it's not a lot of money, but it's something to pay for, like electricity in the house, and I don't need to physically be there to make that happen, you know. So I want to create such things that, one, I don't have to be there for it to make a bit of money for me, and two, it's a platform for us to open up the industry. You know, I feel like I've been given the platform by Bofresh and Mosquito, which they created a platform that opened up a web that absorbed people like myself, yourself, and it created a lot of other people. You know,
Mm.
so it's our time now to sort of create stuff that's going to make the next generation, and
Mm.
hopefully they can then
Mm.
like contribute to other people's generation, and so forth, you
Yeah,
know.
and pass the
So
baton.
for Najo, like I take a lot of risks, man. I've lost so much money doing like stuff that didn't make sense, you know, but I've learned a lot from that. But
Mm.
what I've taken from everything is that if you don't try, and if you don't make use of opportunities, you are as good as useless, dog.
Man,
Yeah.
yeah, you said quite a lot, brother, and thank you for the words of wisdom. And I think, um, just in terms of, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine yesterday and saying, and I mentioned this fact that I think it's so important to have people within our scene. You know, when I mean our scene, and I mean just dance music in general. House music is the most played in South Africa, you know, and we played the most, probably more than any other country in the world. And it's so important to have people like you, people like myself, you know, in certain positions, key positions of certain parts of the industry. You know, the TV industry is an important one, definitely for music. You know, especially a channel like Channel O. It's a music channel. It's a powerhouse in Africa, and to have you, somebody who's from the scene, who understands the music, who understands what people really want when it comes to DJing, when it comes to parties, in there, right in the thick of things. I think it's such an important thing, and I think that people who are, and I'm talking to now talking to people, someone who's watching this. If you're watching this and you are an accountant, or you are, whatever field that you are working on, and you are not necessarily an artist, but you are a house music lover, you are an important part of the whole thing being in there, you know. So it's important for us to have, but when brands are asking for who can we work with, they know exactly who we can get from this scene, you know. And then
Sure.
that kind of grows the scene, more than, it's like I used to think, "Parabatuba hip hop, how do they do it? They're getting onto these channels, they're getting these interviews, but it's because they've got people who love hip hop in those sittings, you know what I
Yes.
mean? Man,
Yes. Yes.
yeah, and I want to get into, let's get into, because the hour is running by so quick.
I
Let's get,
think
yeah, sorry,
just to add on to what you're saying, you
yeah,
know, like I actually like what you say, you know, because if if we went to Channel O First Chunk, you know, and said, guys, Roberto, it's a show. This is the format of the show. Would have to do a proposal.
mm,
This one needs to understand what this is about.
yeah,
What, like, it was going to be a whole like long ass thing that needed unnecessary things, where someone that listens to Maria Carey will
mm,
just say, "Aye, guys, this is just a waste of time
yeah,
and money. Like, it's on man," because they don't understand it, you
mm,
know. So the fact that we did the show, they saw the impact. They were the ones coming to knock, you know, and that's the approach that I always have with all of my things. It's like I want to do a show at a stadium. Ho tlale, the same way ho tlalang ho tlile Asha in South Africa,
sure,
you know. And I'm not going to go to someone and explain to that person what I want to do. I want to do it, I'll lose money. But when I go to them, I'm going to say, this is what I did, not this is what I want to do. This is
yeah,
what I did. Do you want to be part of it? And they'll see the impact, and that's when people want to get involved.
Mm.
And that's exactly what I'm doing right now. I've seen an opportunity in the TV space, and I'm not going to people and saying, "Yeah, I've got lockdown house party. This
Mm.
is what I did. This is what I want to do with
Mm.
XYZ." I want to say, "This is what I'm doing.
Mm.
Are you in or not?" If you are not, I'm moving on to the next person. At some point, someone is going to jump in and buy because it's not a pub thing, and they can see the impact that I've got.
Mm.
So we should influence the culture of doing
Mm.
without expecting anything from anyone else. If you believe in something, go for it, bro. Like,
Mm.
again, tune.
I
If you
got
fail,
okay.
you do it again, man. You know?
Definitely. It's the same story with this particular show because it's like you can tell people that you want to do a show, it's about this, we want to teach people, and you're like, another show from home. But until people actually see it, until people see the people who are on the show and the quality of the content and the responses, most importantly, because people are learning from this, it's easy for people to be like, maybe we should align with this guy.
Yeah.
Let us get into your one man show. Ne? We'll get into international gigs a bit later, but this event has obviously grown. You did it in Paris last year. You've got another edition, yeah, Yako Soweto, and it's growing. It's growing, bruh. Like you are a house music person. Now I'm tired of seeing your lineup dominated by hip hop people. Come on, you represent now. This is now
Yeah,
Pakama now.
but let me get back into that.
Okay,
At some point, your business head needs to jump in. You know,
sure.
if you check my lineup, I'll have a lot of hip hop, which was which were the people that were dominating the music space in South Africa. You can't play blind and say Casper doesn't have influence. You can't play blind and say AKA all these hip hop guys. They've had like a big impact in our music right now, and that's who people want to see.
Mm,
But on the flip side, I'm like, cool. There's a business opportunity here. Let me sell tickets to the show. Ne? An AKA or a Casper is going to get there and DJ for and perform for 30 minutes, maximum 40, 45 minutes, right? And then the other one is going to come maximum the lineup that I have of hip hop is going to last 3 or 4 hours. Ne?
mm,
But people are there for how many hours? Like close to 8 to 10 hours. You
sure.
understand?
Mm,
What are they exposed to in the other hours? Like it's house music,
sure.
So I'm using their influence for people to buy tickets to the show
Mm,
because they want to see them. But when they are waiting for them to come on screen on the stage, all they're exposed to is me, who's on the decks as a DJ, and I'm playing what I play, which is house music.
yeah.
So that's the thinking of my one man show. I remember this other year, dog. Like my show is very house hip hop, very young, and hippie,
Mm,
And I was like, there's an artist called Zahara in the country that everyone wants to see. Like everyone wants to see Zahara.
mm, mm,
And I was like, I'm going to book her for my show, you know. And I had families coming there in blankets, mama old lady. It was now a family event more than just a bash for young people.
mm,
So now I got older people coming to the show to understand what it's about. Because what's it about mama old lady? They're like, don't know that kisho walwaniwa. It's
mm,
just a mess, fella.
mm,
But I got families to come to the show and experience what the show was all about so that next year when Zahara was not there, they would be comfortable enough to say, no, Managaki 150, you can
mm,
go to that show because it was safe, there were toilets, the
mm,
production was dope, we had fun, even though this year, Rona, we can't go because our Zahara, but they were exposed to the show and they bought tickets to come see Zahara. By the
mm,
end of that show, a person that came to see Zahara on stage at my show was exposed to what I do more than Zahara who was there for 30 minutes. You
Mm,
get me? So
mm,
that's how it helped with my brand, because I could have gained maybe 50% of those people that solely came there to see Zahara, but were exposed to me and they fell in love with what I was doing. So I think you need to pay people to make money for you and to also expose you to other markets. And that's
mm,
what I've been doing. And that's why sometimes Otolano at a Pop Bottles event,
mm,
I'll be one of two DJs in
mm,
a hip hop event,
mm,
and that's how you grow your networks, man.
mm,
Don't be scared to jump into scenes that don't really make sense to what you're doing,
mm,
but use those platforms to grow who you are.
I love that so much, bro. And if you could please, because this is such an informative show, I want us to teach people how to not make the same mistakes that we have done in the past. And with regards to your one man show, are there certain things that you've done that you like, now you've learned from it, you've grown from it, obviously from doing it over and over again. But what are some of the things that you've learned that you got burnt in?
Mm. Uh, I think for Nacho, it was just from an inventing space. I made mistakes in terms of booking too many artists and and not really taking the financial side of things importantly. But for now, I take that mistake as a learning to say, yeah, sharp. I booked a lot of guys. They brought value to the show, but I didn't make money from it. But I looked beyond the monetary value that I made back or I lost. I saw the value that I was investing in terms of how many people I got into the venue. Because honestly speaking, when people see the pictures of my show and it's packed, brands don't say, yeah, it was packed because there was AKA or
Yeah,
a Casper. They say Shimza's show was packed,
yeah.
and that's what you want as a brand.
Mm,
That's the type of faith you want to get from brands so that they can invest more into what you are doing. Like it goes back to you saying, "Hi guys, here's a picture of the show that I do. Here are the numbers. This is how much alcohol I sold." Brands want to see that. They don't
mm,
want to hear, okay, who was on the lineup,
yeah,
why Mama performing so. They don't care about that.
yeah.
It's like, when is this show again? We want
Mm,
to be a part of it, and that's how you build a brand.
mm,
You take a knock, and
mm,
then hopefully, as you grow and you do things right, then the right people jump on board.
sure.
So I've never made like a mistake where I'm like, that was bad.
I hear you. I
Yeah.
hear you, man. And since the lockdown, you have been trending for all sorts of reasons. I don't know how many times I've seen Shimza must fall on Twitter. I'm like, oh my
Yeah.
goodness, here we go again. But do you think that people misunderstand you, or do you just think people are just judgmental in general?
Here's the thing when I LSG, ne? Namfethu, like I'm not a I'm not a person that I'm not an unreasonable person. Until
Mm,
I understand what goes on. I'm not I get softy,
mm,
So if LSG comes to me and says, fuck you, I won't say, yeah, because I'm a celebrity. I can't swear back at LSG. I'll tell you, look, no, four,
yeah,
understand?
sure.
Because I'm human and I don't want to act out of character.
Mm,
I'm not going to act as if I'm not human being anymore because I've got more people that know about me, you
mm,
know. And I feel like sometimes people act out of character and try and play this I'm a nice guy thing while in the background by some say, you
mm,
understand? So for now, it's like um what you see is what you get. If LSG were like you are annoying me and I feel like you're getting on my nerves, I should be able to tell you, bro, Rejo, LSG. oh yeah, man, like, well, like, why are you going to call me 1,000 times, for the same thing over and over? I should be able to tell you that, because I'm not going to hold back, because now I'm scared what the world is going to say I'm rude, I'm arrogant, and whatnot. I'm human, though. Like,
Sure.
ke motho. Lo, and I'm sure one day you've woken up and you were annoyed by something or someone, and you were able to tell them.
Mm.
I'm not saying maybe my approach would be right at some point, but I'm human,
Yeah.
though. Like, yeah, I'm human, and I should be able to tell you, emanyana jo, we no
Yeah.
understand? So
Yeah.
I think people expect us to play like we are angels and we do no wrong, and I think that mentality should be out there, but what I've learned from social media is that you will literally trend for telling someone to stop harassing you because you feel harassed,
Mm.
and they'll say you are rude for that. But when you do something good, it's like, yeah, okay, this, and that's it,
Mm.
and once you understand that, once the noise starts coming up, yeah, because they want you to be like, they want you to be wrong.
Yeah.
They waiting for you to do something wrong, and that's why you'll always trend for the small mistakes that you do,
Mm.
but at some point, I'm like, people can say I'm rude or whatnot, but Joe, I'm not going to act like a person that I'm not,
Yeah.
and that's out of principle.
Mm.
I'm not going to act like I'm perfect because I'm not perfect,
Mm.
and I want to instill the culture of people being able to speak out. Like, imagine if how sharp, ne,
Mm.
and you can't speak out to how sharp.
Sure.
Like, as a human, that won't work.
Mm.
If you are feeling hurt by something, you should be able to say, guys, I'm hurt about 1, 2, 3, 4, and people should take your side because you are a human and not a celebrity.
Mm.
Like, o tlo botsa batho, se tlo tshaba ho botsa batho hore how sharp, because they're gonna say, yeah, but what did you expect? You're a celebrity, as if celebrities are not human.
Mm. Mm.
That's why now you see a lot of people keeping quiet with certain things, because you can never say anything to support a cause, because when you
Mm.
say, guys, you're wrong for this, they're gonna say, where were you yesterday?
Mm.
We needed to, or what, and it's like you now have to do.
Hey, man.
How ever in terms of the guy, hi man, was going to ever income, guys, and it's impractical. It's impractical. You
Mm.
can't do everything to please everyone. So I think, as much as sometimes ginalokhuza maphorisa on Twitter, but I get where the guys are coming from, and when I sit down and speak to them, say, man, sometimes they when I know Robert, and they're like, bro, if Banro, I need to be able to swear back, and I understand it because they are human beings, and people
Mm.
think because Buana they've got power of Twitter, and they think when they say you must fall, it's going to happen. That shit doesn't exist, bro. Like, we were not made by Twitter. We woke up and we made use of the small things that we had. We
Mm.
appreciate the support that people give us, but at no point should they feel or demand that they made you.
Mm.
They've supported what you were doing, and
Mm.
which is great to appreciate that. But they must not think because Bona they have a phone and they can say LSG must fall,
Mm.
then it's going to happen. Like Obulaile Motho. You didn't
Mm.
kill anyone, bro.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Awabula Motho.
And the other
You
thing is
literally.
that, man, like, just to add sort of for Katane, like, I think that in SA we've created a culture that celebrities or well-known people actually need to answer to everyone, and to everyone's needs. And like you say, it's like you can't even be human. You can't even make a mistake. Hey, you make a mistake, everybody wants to go off, and
Like,
that's such a misplaced thing, bruh. Like, no one, even the very same people who would go off at you, make them mistakes themselves. It's just that they are not known. It's just that Haritska Matata bona ba
like,
irang. Wa ntlhaloganya?
I'm saying now, ne, the other day, some guy said I took his mix and I don't wanna bring it back. I decided, what, let me keep quiet and see where this is going to go.
Yeah.
And literally I could see my name climb up the trends list, like SHIMZA out there mixing one no more. And I'm like, guys, so I haven't had my mixer since November. I've been asking for my mixer that I borrowed to someone since November, and I have not been getting it. So not because I can't go on Twitter and say LSG was a remixer because LSG has you. I won't get anything out of that. But because LSG will say Shimza remixer high, people are going to say, yeah, oh, wrong for them mixer because they want you to be wrong. They don't understand that Shimza. I've been waiting and been told stories for months, and and now because this guy was over mixer and he decided to go on Twitter to try and discredit who I am, now there must be a noise.
Mm.
And that's when I decided I'm not going to keep quiet. I'm going to tell them exactly what's going on. But we should not be we should not be answering to Twitter.
No, we
If
shouldn't.
you have a problem, let's sit down, talk,
Yeah,
and let's move on.
for
You get
sure,
me?
for sure. I want us to read this subject because here D
Yeah.
and like but what tweet about D. Uh, I've got a voice note from a friend. And then we get back to this now.
So
Yeah, yo, man, so much I could say about Shimza, man. Shimza is just a beautiful guy, man. He's inspiring to be around. He's every second with him is like a learning curve. So I could go on the whole day and say a whole lot of stuff, man. But in just to make it short, just in short, Shimza is a beautiful person. He's focused. He's a hard worker. I like the fact that he takes risks, and being around him is just so inspirational. He teaches me a lot, and he teaches everyone around him a lot. I just feel like it's just so up to you to grasp and learn and move with him. He moves quick, so yeah, that's my boy.
Yeah, that's Duck, Mr.
yeah,
Molamo.
Taki.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah.
So
So I mean, like a lot of people learn from you. Like Doug just said, people who are closest to you learn a lot. You always moving quick, and like you mentioned, when you have an idea, you're not afraid to go knock. You're not afraid to create that idea before even asking for help. But I want to ask you, who are some of the people that you've learned from, in your career?
Nacho, I learn from a lot of people, man. Like I think my personality has been built around people that have done wrong things in life and people that have done good and people that have not done anything. You
Mm,
get I
mm,
take I take the small things that inspire me to build who I am. You see people that have done things and have done wrong things with the things that they've done,
mm,
and you're like, oh, okay, this is where this went wrong. This is where this went right. So I need to try and strike a balance and see, okay, this is the space that I'm going to play into, and I'm not saying everything that I've done is right or every decision or move that I've done is always right, but I try and create a I'm trying to create my own path,
mm,
that will inspire other people to do things that they want to do. I am, and that's how I live, man. Like I believe that we as human beings should not think success is for other people. Success is not for a certain type of people. Like 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 if
mm,
I wanted to, I'd be just chilling and doing nothing. But I've decided that at some point in my life, I want to be successful. I'm
mm,
still not where I want to be financially, spiritually, but I'm working towards that, and I know that working towards it is the only thing that can make it happen.
mm,
And that's the type of attitude that I want to instill in other people to say, if you're going to wait for other people to give you the nod, you'll wait forever. So just do it yourself.
mm.
Just do it.
Man, that's
Yeah.
so powerful. You used to play a lot with Black Coffee. You guys used to play, back to back a lot back in the days, and to see him grow like and do what he has done, and to see you as well, and many other guys like Kulo the Song, the Capo is coming through as well, and there's many other people coming through from South Africa like that. But I want to ask you about specifically about your relationship with Black Coffee right now. Like, do you guys have one?
I don't speak about other people in interviews, bro.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. We're gonna move very quickly from that. Um,
Let's move.
yeah, I wanna get into South African DJs playing abroad. I played with you in Berlin in 2017, and you were rushing to another gig like the following morning. I think you were catching a train to somewhere. I think I can't remember, but we've seen guys getting through to the international scene. And do you think what can be done actually to get more South African DJs, or what is it that South African DJs need to do for more of us to break into the European market? And secondly, what is it about our scene that we can change to make it, to grow it, especially the party scene in South Africa, to grow it to that European level?
Um, I think the more music comes out of South Africa, the better for us, because then people want to know what it is, and what more there is from that part of the world, and the more music, like I'm saying, the better for all of us. And for us, like you guys, with the Budweiser stuff that you guys do, Bo Transmake, the parties that they do, um the senior go Bramfontein, Boma N Club, those are that's what makes sense to the European market. If you see the format, yeah, show, yeah, one man show, that's not the format that that shows in Europe take. It's like, it's either it's an underground party, or it's a commercial party.
Mm,
You know, and if it's a festival with a lot of places, with a lot of dance floors, main stage is mainly mainstream,
mm,
and then the other small stages are like for certain styles of music. So I think we need to sort of take what we doing right now, like a spring fiesta, for instance. Main stage, you get mainstream DJs that
mm,
play for mainstream, and then there are floors where deep house lovers can go and have fun.
mm,
Hip hop lovers can go and have fun, and that's the culture that we need to work on. Especially for the music that we play.
mm,
It's dope that things like Bo Deep in the City came about,
mm,
and they are there to play in a space where you teach people about a certain style of music and get the people that love that style of music into one room. And
mm,
that's how the scene grows.
mm,
We should not be pushing stuff aside, and that's what I'm trying to do with Lockdown House Party. When we program the lineup, it's like, no, this is not a piano show,
yeah,
this is not a deep house show, this is not a Afrotech show. It's a musical space. I'll have an Afrotech DJ that loves what they're doing, and is trying to have an impact in that scene, and have them be themselves, so that
mm,
people understand and get exposed to the type of music, and not just this one thing that's in the mainstream.
mm,
So we all need to play a part in making sure that people love what we are doing, and they know that there are different styles of music, even though one could be more popular, but there are different styles of music that people play and that they can enjoy.
sure, sure. I want to ask you about your joint hangout in Tembisa, but before I do, actually, ne ke batla ho botsa, how do you deal with difficulties, like mentally? How do you handle difficulties that come with your life? I mean, like, you're a DJ, you're an artist, now you're a TV producer, now you're an event promoter, and you do so much. You are a father too, you need to look after that. How do you deal when things get tough mentally? Like, do you go to therapy? What do you do?
I'm a very positive person, man. Like now, I'm positive, bro. Like, even when I'm seeing, literally, like when I'm seeing shit, I'll be as positive as I can be. And and that has gotten me through a lot of rough things. Like, I look for the positive, even when I can see, "Ah, I'm working my sipping,"
Yeah.
even with like for instance, the Twitter thing,
Mm,
that thing could have thrown me off if I was a weak character,
mm,
But I was like, Joe, I wanna next. Like, look at how my Twitter following is growing.
mm,
This should be motivating me to do more so that people can see that the person that they want to um, create that I am is not really who I am. I'm doing so much more.
mm,
There's so much more that I'm doing that people don't even know about.
mm,
But you look back and you see a lot of people saying, "Wait, guys, how do you say this guy must fall?" So you are saying Shimza must fall. What about the thousands of kids that get school shoes every year from what he does?
mm,
What about the jobs that he creates through his one-man show and his restaurant? What about the platform that he's creating on Lockdown House
mm,
Party for upcoming artists to come and perform and be exposed? What about the artists that he's paying to be on that show?
mm,
So you are saying this guy must fall so that it can have a ripple effect in all the right things that he has done
mm, mm,
because he did one small mistake.
mm,
And I look at those comments and I'm like, actually, I wanna next.
mm,
I wanna fall your sale. You move forward. So,
mm,
like I'm saying, I'm a very positive person, man. Like I don't get dragged down by anything,
mm,
and people must know that my character is very strong.
mm.
Like I said in the beginning, if something ain't really sharp, I'm going to tell you, bro, this is not it.
Yeah.
If one row, I'm going to roha you back, So
For sure.
I'm a positive person. So
Sure.
nothing negative gets to me in that way.
Sure, sure. Okay, bro. I mean, well, because I was asking about therapy, I just want to mention to people who are watching that on this particular show, every first Monday of the month, I interview, I host a psychiatrist. She's a specialist psychiatrist, Dr. Gwen Tonyani from Life Kastenhof Hospital, to just help us as artists look at other ways. Not everybody is also strong mentally. Some things
Yeah.
do affect other people hectically. So if you need therapy, if you need somebody to talk to, the information is there, and please check her out on in 2 weeks time. Yeah, I'm gonna have her in 2 weeks time. But anyway, let's talk about Hangout. um how do you why did you build the venue, and how do you deal with staff now? Being a boss, like events is a once-off thing, but now having people that you have to pay on a monthly basis. Why did you start the venue, and how is it doing? I mean, obviously lockdown, I'm sure it affected you, but just in general, what's the vision with that?
The vision with the hangout is to have like Karen, a thing that can be at a Tasha's level, but Kogas, serve good food, have a great ambience, have a selection of alcohol that people can enjoy. Like Skavata Belor, if someone wants a cocktail, they need to go to Sentin
Yeah.
or Madrid, whatever. It's like it's there, Kogas. You can go and have good food, you can dress up. Like, females just wanna look pretty,
Yeah.
and that's the type of atmosphere that I wanted to bring, and for the fact that I could do that, have my own venue, that I can also be comfortable in going and chilling, kokasi,
Mm,
was also dope,
mm,
and the effects that it has on the people around me, if I can create jobs for young people from Tembisa or even outside of Tembisa, for me, that's a blessing. When you're seeing people happy that they're coming to work and
mm,
they don't have to spend uh, a couple of hundreds or thousands a
mm.
month to get to work,
On
to
transport.
go to a place that's well run and they can be proud of being a part of is a blessing for me, and
Mm,
I decided to do this thing because I love where I come from, and I wouldn't want to start something like that outside of Tembisa, even though I want to one day branch out and have a hangout in Soweto or a hangout in Midrand, but
mm,
starting it in Tembisa and making sure that people there have an option of something premium for them to go to was
mm.
an option.
Man, that's
Yeah.
such a dope thing. I have to ask this though, but one of the few people who the one of the first people who supported you, when you opened Hangout, is Julius Malema, and we
Yeah.
saw him standing up for you, be like, Shimza man, uska wara ka dilo tse di so mo Twitter, you apologized, like just move on with it. Are you guys friends? And also, secondly, I'm gonna ask you this because I'm gonna show pictures of him at your restaurant, and in the
Yeah.
same table, it was him and Honorable Mzwanzile Masina. Are you
Yeah.
EFF or are you ANC? I have to know.
I'm a full on ANC comrade. Like I'm not into like politics like hardcore, but I'm ANC. I'm pro ANC, but at some point you get supported by everyone in the country, like everyone, DA, ANC, EFF, and as a person of influence, you should be able to separate yourself from the politics at some point, because when you chill with these people, you see that Libona, they are human beings and they they're human beings beyond politics,
Mm, mm,
And being able to chill with them and them support us, I mean, Julius books me for some of his parties that he throws, like Kobomgate and and all of those places,
mm,
And Mzondile ke Protman yaga, I can pick up the phone and say, hey man, Julius, ke paisa ke 1 2 3 4. Hey, Mzondile, ke paisa ke 1 2 3 4, and they are brotherly figures to me, politics aside. But they know that this one is a yellow card,
hey,
Sometimes even Julius makes a joke and say, we always come through for you. These old people from the NC, they never say anything when you're under attack, And I'm like, yeah, no, you're doing it as my brother and as a fellow friend, but
yeah.
you know where I am, and we understand that, and we make fun of it sometimes. And I wish you could have been around the table and listened to the type of conversations they have. It's like
Mm,
they give each other advice, and
mm,
they're like, here you messed up. This
mm,
one is like, here, so it's quite refreshing and very inspiring being around such influential people
mm,
and hearing how they think and how they're happy to support a young person that's trying to do something about their lives,
mm,
and they can put their political parties on the side and say, this is a young black person doing something dope, and let's
mm,
support him where we can.
mm,
So
mm,
I think for me that's one thing that I love about being exposed to both parties, because they support everything that I do, man, and I
mm.
and I appreciate that.
Beautiful, man. And I think just in closing, if I could link that to music, um, for the longest of time, we've been programmed. We've programmed our mind that if you're doing this type of music, you shouldn't be mixing with somebody who's doing this type of music. And it's such a misleading thing if you think about it, because somebody who's doing piano, you might not like their music, ne? But this person can also give you business advice on how they do
Yeah.
their brand. They can show you how they shot their video. They can give you contacts to somebody who's a photographer or a venue, a brand manager, whatever the
Mm.
case may be. I think that we need to go back from being separated by music genres and really realizing, like, bruh, I'm not gonna play my piano. That's not gonna happen. Like, but
Yeah.
I'm but
Yeah.
but I've got a friend, a friend of mine, like who's a manager or I'm a piano rabu or Antalohang, and I think it goes. We are human before we are DJs, before even we are deep house DJs or commercial or whatever the case may be. It's very important, I think, bruh. So in closing, do you have anything that you think should be happening more in South Africa that you wish to see happening more in SA with regards to our scene?
Yeah, I think people should be more like, we must run away from this wave thinking. You're like, okay, now ke nako ya gqom. Gqom is the shit. No, ke nako ya amapiano. Like, let's appreciate music.
Mm,
Let's appreciate music. And I think the one problem that Afro tech deep house DJs do is the fact that they don't want to share music, man. Like, bro, come on. You know, the one thing that makes Amapiano stand out is because these guys share their music. Like, they've literally forced it down people's throats. And because there's such an influx of that music bombarding the scene, you see it blowing because people think this is the only thing that's happening, you know. But Rona, we are holding on to music, you know, as much as we have plans with our music because you want to release on the right labels, you know, you want to do all of that stuff. But if we're going to do that, let's put out as much as we can. And like these young upcoming producers should stop having this thing as long as Pina ya ka e dladile ke motho e one who's pioneering this sound to the world, then I've made it. That's bullshit, bro. Like like it's not one person's that person can play your song so many times and you'd have to feed that one person with new music all the time. I want. You're going to burn out, you know. But share the music with everyone so that everyone can play the music. You know, we understand that sometimes that one person can have an impact on the music so that it has someone can maybe pick it up from somewhere else and sign it for some odd reason. But bro, stop it. Like just stop it. It's you are not going to go anywhere if you are going to be just pleased that one person is playing a song.
Sure.
Share the music, share it with everyone. Like just share your music. That's how this thing is going to grow. But if we are carrying on the way we are, this music is just going to be bubbling under for the longest time ever.
And that goes the same thing goes for track list, guys. If you do a mix, just post the track list so people can go and download the songs that you put in your mix. That's what we do as DJs. We are there to promote the artists. We are there to promote the people who actually created the music. But now, if you're doing a dope mix, somebody's like, "Hey man, this track number, what you played on this mix? What's the name of the song?" Ah, you see, exclusive. Fuck that
It's not
shit, man.
exclusive. Not now. I'm guilty of not sharing track lists because of the amount of mixes that I do every
Share
day.
track
You
list,
know?
my man, please.
Joe, use Shazam, dog. Like Shazam. If I hear your opinion, wait for it to be on Shazam. If I hear on Shazam, it means I hear you anyway. So lenga vote or get LSG. We're see clearly because that's you know.
I hear you.
I'm trying so much, man, but I get so much music all the time, and I do try and tell people what Binekiyama, but hey, every time I want to type, like I mean, a week, I do a mix for more flavor in the morning on Fridays. I do a mix for Skido, and then sometimes I'm playing on Lockdown House Party
You need to do that,
and
man.
on SABC One. You know, so
Yeah,
that's like so much work. I just say I know it's
yeah,
like porn.
yeah. But I mean, maybe an employment opportunity there for you if you need to employ somebody who's just gonna be dealing with your music and playlists. That's
Yeah,
another.
let me make money so I can afford to
Let's
do that.
let's take something from that lockdown house part. But anyway, bruh, thank you so much for doing
Yeah,
this. Ke a leboga, brah, ka, yeah, you know, like
thank you so
I'm
much,
calling
man.
you brah, even though you're younger than me, but I just wanna say thank you because I really appreciate firstly the work that you do, the work that you've done, but more so just the grind that you're keeping on, like you're not stopping, you're not saying I've reached this and I'm done, but you're also not selfish, and you're selfless enough to share your knowledge and experiences. So thank you, bro.
No, thank you so much, brother. I really appreciate it, man. And just keep positive, man. Positivity can get you to a lot of places, man. More worrying, more skin. Just say I'm going to do it, man, and just go and do it.
For
So
sure,
just remain positive, and that's it.
for sure, bro, for sure. Anyway, no, thank you, bro. Thank you.
Thanks, brother.
Ashley, re tla bua o tiak. Hola.
I will.
Peace out. Okay, everyone, thank you so much for watching this. Please share the video. Please tag somebody who might learn from it, who might enjoy it. And let's remember to stay creative. Enjoy your weekends.